Antonio, first of all, can you say what you tested positive for?
Well, I mean, the list is it's ongoing. It's a big list. From my understanding, it was something to somehow create more testosterone in your body, and it's ironic that I'm sitting here actually talking about it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not aware enough about what certain supplements or substance require or obtain in my system, nor have I ever been an advocate of players taking it. So, like I said before in the statement that I made, knowingly or not knowingly, you just can't do it. You can't have it in your system, and you know, the support I've received from my teammates, my family, my friends, that meant the world to me. So I'm just ready to play football, man. You know what I'm saying? I would think that I get this crowd when I catch 13 touchdowns. So, but not, I get it when something like this come up, and I've learned from it. I've actually used it as a mechanism to teach my kids and just teach the players around that nobody's perfect, and you make mistakes.
Was this something you bought at the store? Was it prescription?
Well, I mean, obviously, I've been my whole career. I've been a big part of just naturopathic medicine, just taking certain things for my cleansing, kidney, liver, making sure my sugar level is right. And as you get older, you have to find a way to try to take care of yourself in terms of recovery. So unfortunately, certain things that you take, which is in a light of just trying to do the right things, to trying to make sure when you're done playing, you're still able to walk, talk, and enjoy your family, just not NFL approved.
Was it a new supplement, something different we've never done before, just kind of
No,
accident?
well, it's I got to be careful how I answer this because I'm not really sure quite how it got in my system particularly, but it was in there, and I've been doing the same things over and over in terms of after the season, just taking care of my body. I'm very intuitive of what my body needs and what I need to come out and perform every single year. And like I said, it's just something where, it showed up in the test, I've taken multiple tests since then. It didn't show up. I've taken multiple tests before then, and it didn't show up. So out of 100,000 tests I've taken in the NFL, one test proved to be positive, and who's to say how it got in my system?
They tell you guys to check with the trainers, check with the doctor, call the 800 number, whatever. Did you do any of that?
No, I was unaware that I was taking something, in that terms. And so, I wouldn't, consider myself having to do those things when, what I mean, your mind, particularly if your body's feeling a certain way and you go to the store and you're like, okay, let me do something to help myself in terms of pain or decreasing pain. You don't really, it doesn't dawn on you at that particular time, oh man, let me turn this box over and let me see if the 166 things on the list, is actually on this box. You know what I'm saying? So it's changed a whole bunch. This league is totally different than when I first got here, and the things that you can take and the things that you can't take. Back in the day, it was kind of like etched in stone. If somebody did something, you knew what it was. Now, so you see a ton of guys getting in trouble with things that they've, knowingly or not knowingly taken. And it just, it's a learning experience. It's something you have to learn from.
Antonio, what was your reaction when you were told that you had tested positive?
I mean, it was, I was thinking April was over with, so I was thinking more of an April Fool's joke. So it was, it was, it's hard to explain, man, because in reality is that I've been playing sports since I was 10 years old. And, the guys that have been around me, like my home, my friends, high school friends, collegiate friends, you know what I mean? They know that I just always had a gift. So when I got the information, I was as shocked as, I knew coming into minicamp that, I was dealing with it, but the 4-game suspension was never in my mind. I don't know if it makes sense to you. I never really thought that I'd be getting suspended for 4 games. I thought it was an issue. We was going to address it. I was going to show them, look, this is what I've been taking. This is all the medicine. This is the this is the natural pathway way I've been doing it. It's a chemical imbalance that can show up in your system that maybe, but that never happened. You know what I'm saying? I'll look up and I was surprised. I mean, I knew I was going to get suspended, but didn't know to that magnitude. Then I finally found out that, I got a 4-game suspension. I was like, it's just black and white. And, if that makes sense to you, it's kind of like, you flying a pilot and you're the pilot. You find a plane and you're the pilot. No matter how it gets in your system, you can't fly that plane. If they don't really break down the circumstance, they don't break down the characteristic of the person, they don't break down the actual person, they just know it's in your system, it's a barcode, it's a number, and boom, they deal with it in black and white. So unfortunately, I wasn't happy with it, but it's the way it is, it's the rules. I got to deal with it, and I can't keep crying over spilled milk. I got to get ready to play week 5, and and now I got 8 weeks of training camp. So that's the way I take it.
How do you help with Darius get ready to play?
He's already a phenomenal athlete. He's already an emerging star in this league, and I just try to support him like he's been doing with me over the duration of his time being here. I'm able to still practice in training camp, which is obviously a plus for me. Just being able to show him, just the ins and outs about being a starter in this league. I got to actually be a coach at some point and be able to teach him. But more importantly, I get to tell him about my story and to say, look, man, just make sure you do the right things, because you don't want this to show up, and you don't want to have to be sitting at this podium, making the same explanation. And I think, things happen for a reason, and I've learned to take them and, learn from them.
We've all been around you for many years, we know your character, but how does it feel that you're now a marked man, that now maybe you might get extra random tests, and just being that marked person, you is who you are, and what we all know about you?
What's so funny is you say that, but I've been in the random testing program for 6 years, just because of the response. The off season I don't respond, I guess adequate enough for them to, 24 hours I think is the time frame. So I've been in that system for years. So now I get tested once a week, and it becomes a joke in a sense. So when they come to my house, you know what I'm saying, I make light of it. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of like you can't be upset of something that's so far-fetched in a sense. So I just make light of it, and I have fun with it, man. I just get ready to play football when my time comes.
Antonio, how difficult is it for you to imagine now that you're on the field for 4 games while your teammates are out there?
It's very difficult due to the fact that this is the first situation in terms of what I've experienced, being able to be out for so long, and due to this situation, I'm not sure exactly what I can do. I know I can't be here. So my approach would be just continue to work, try to duplicate as much as I can, and then when I come back, hopefully, the offensive coordinator Frank and the guys can kind of welcome me back with open arms and kind of work me into the system where I can kind of have some type of productivity to help from week 5 on out.
You'll have fresh legs in week 5. Have you thought about that aspect?
Yeah, I thought about playing another year now, so
The way you run your career on that note is just how well you take care of yourself and teammates, and how much they've talked about how well you've done that the past way. It's hard to hear things like, have you done this your whole career? Have you had the outside talk about
it's one thing about me, I don't read much about, I don't listen to the media, I don't watch SportsCenter that much. I've heard things said from certain players in the league, but I think the thing that matters to me most is probably the guys that's around, the people that know me. And I'm an inner city kid. I grew up in Detroit, so dealing with a little adversity is, it's kind of like, a part of my forte. So I grew up in a rough neighborhood. I lost my sister to lupus, so sports is it's a big part of my life, but it ain't everything. So again, I apologize to my teammates and my family, but this is something that I can definitely get over. If I can deal with what I had to deal with last year with my sister, you know what I'm saying, I can definitely move forward from this.
Is this making more of an advocate, like you were saying, help the other people maybe become more aware, maybe something that you can bring to the next collective bargaining agreement when that sort of stuff comes up?
Yeah, I mean, I've used it in that form in terms of, you know, obviously explaining to my kids, and then obviously guys on this team. And I'm quite sure there's a ton of guys around the league that's watching this case closely, and they're taking supplements and they're doing whatever they need to do to perform at the highest level possible. You know, all I can tell them and the advice I can give them is just that make sure whatever you're doing, despite what you might feel, make sure it's, you know, NFL approved. And you know, and you see that the suspension has went up dramatically. I mean, guys getting suspended left and right. And I'm not to say that everybody knows or not know what they're taking, but it's just, you know, it's kind of becoming a part of this league. And so now guys have to really be cautious of what they're doing and what they're putting in their bodies.
You guys have had your first team meeting last night. But you didn't address the team at all, or just kind of something you talked to the guys privately? Or?
Yeah. I mean, you know, the team is, you know, they've been phenomenal, man, in supporting me. So they haven't really said much about it, but I'm quite sure they was watching closely when it all hit, you know, ESPN, and I got a lot of text messages from some guys, and you know, they know our goal is to still win the championship, and they know I'm a part of it. So I don't think, you know, this is just one part of something that we got to overcome collectively. I'm quite sure other things will come along throughout the season, injuries, but this is part of it. And I think this is what builds your bond. When you have to somehow deal with something, it somehow you gain closeness from that. So now dealing with this particular situation, we've actually got closer because they've been supportive and I've been able to respond to them, and then hopefully that'll carry on to the football field.
So much of the preseason, so much of the preseason and training camp is geared toward getting ready for week one. Knowing that you're not out there week one, how does that change your approach or what you do to get ready, if at all?
Well, it doesn't really change my approach. I just have a longer process, so I like to look at it that way. Most of the guys here, obviously 3.5 weeks, 4 weeks to get ready for a season. Now I've actually have, you know, 8 weeks, you know, to get ready for a season. So I'm gonna try, like I said, I'm gonna try my best to try to duplicate as much as I can, you know, which is hard, you know, when I have to leave and depart this team and depart this facility. But I guarantee you, when I come back, you know, I'll be ready to play week 5.
All right, thank you, Antonio.
All right.